Although California has a lot of regulations related to mortgage lending, foreclosing on a property in California is a much faster process than in other states around the country. I wanted to learn the exact process from start to finish, so I visited the office of Total Lender Solutions in San Diego to interview Randy Newman, who's an expert in the subject and offers non-judicial foreclosure services in 5 states, including California. I'm Rocky Butani, CEO of PrivateLenderLink.com, where investors and brokers can easily find direct private lending companies. If you are in the investment real estate business and want to gain insights into private mortgage lending, subscribe to our channel and get notified every time we release a new video. So Randy, could you tell us about the foreclosure process in the state of California?
Sure. So in California, it's considered a three-step process. As far as where we come into the process, prior to the file getting here, there are some hoops that a lender may have to jump through depending on the type of loan, what position it's in, and whether or not there's balloon payment involved in the foreclosure action. In which case certain notices or communication has to occur before we get the file. The lender comes to us, lets us know the borrower's in default. We will get all the particulars that we need about the loan, information on the default, when did it happen, what happened, how much is owed, and then from there we'll create the notice of default, we'll send it to our title company to record, and the notice of default, they'll send it back to us along with the TSG, the trustee sale guarantee, with the information on who has to be notified on the sale, on the process, Then basically we send out our notices to everybody in the TSG and we sit on our hands for a 3-month period. We're not allowed to take any action. During the 3 months, however, the borrower has the right to bring the loan current, to reinstate it. They also have the right to pay the loan off during those 3 months. If at the end of those 3 months they do neither, we'll ask for the lender's permission to move forward and create the notice of sale. We'll set the time, date, and place, location of the note of the sale itself, and then we will arrange for publication of it in a newspaper. It'll be posted on the property and typically in the county recorder's office, in the county where the property is located, and then it's published in a newspaper once a week for 3 consecutive weeks. And the week following the third publication, a minimum of 20 days after first publication, we can actually go to sale and conduct the sale. Under California law, the notice of sale is good for 1 year, so we can postpone the sale for as long or as little as we'd like, up to 1 year from the date of the original sale. If we go beyond that date, we have to start the sale process over again, a new notice of sale. We don't have to start over from scratch.
Got it. So in California, it typically takes 90 days before you can...
Before the notice of sale.
Okay.
No, 90 days for notice of sale, then 3 weeks for the publication, and then the following week we go to sale. So it's roughly 111 days is what it works out to. But because of lead times for publication, I may be able to record the notice of sale on one day, but I can't get the publication started until a later day. We'll hold off for the sale to actually occur.
So roughly around 4 months, and it could be longer.
It could be longer if the bankruptcy's filed, if there's any litigation involved. The lender may decide not to go forward. You know, a lot of times the lender will talk to the borrower. They'll communicate. We're not privy to those conversations, and they may have agreed to, modify the loan, or there's a forbearance, and nobody bothers telling us. So that's why we always ask for permission to go forward. So you tell us specifically, have you spoken to the borrower at all, and what's gone on? So this way it can go on for longer. Bankruptcy, we have files open from 2016 right now, and this is 2021. So 5 years they're open because there are complex Chapter 11 bankruptcies going on, but we're still there waiting.
Interesting. So once you file the notice of default, do you have any communication with the borrower?
We notify the borrower by certified and regular mail with a copy of the recorded notice of default. We, as a trustee, do not make outgoing calls or outgoing communication to the borrower. We're here to respond to the borrower in the event they have questions. Sometimes they need a breakdown or a payoff amount for the loan or a reinstatement amount, and we'll facilitate that between the borrower and the lender. But that's about the only time we talk to the borrower, or to, a lot of my time is spent talking to borrowers, just explaining the process to them so they understand, what's involved and what they can do, and hopefully make some arrangements to get out of the foreclosure.
So it's usually the lender communicating with you to let you know if they want to just cancel the foreclosure, or if they want to move forward.
Correct.
Within that 3-month period in California, before you can even go to notice of sale, that's all that may happen on your end.
Correct. And just to clarify, that right to redeem, to pay off, or reinstate continues on. So it doesn't end at the end of the 3-month waiting period following the recording of the notice of default. The borrower has the absolute right to bring the loan current up until 5 business days before the scheduled sale date or any postponed date, and they have the right technically up until the time of sale to pay the loan off in full and stop the foreclosure.
Okay, so
in California.
So if the borrower at some point before the sale, even after the notice of sale, if they bring the loan current, the lender can't just say, hey, we're still going to foreclosure, I still want to get a full payoff, right?
Unless the loan has been accelerated. But in California, when there's been a monetary default for installments missed, the lender can't accelerate the note until 5 business days before the sale.
But if it's not a monetary default, if let's just say terms of the loan documents were breached, then the lender can just say, hey, I don't care if you're current on the payments, we're still foreclosing. So you need to pay off the whole loan amount in order to stop the sale.
Correct. For instance, I had a client who we were foreclosing on because a violation was posted on the property that they were growing marijuana on the property illegally. What a lot of the municipalities are doing now is when those violations are given, they're notifying the lender of the violations. And the trustee. So if I've recorded a notice of default, for instance, they'll notify us. At that point, the lender can accelerate the loan because they're doing an illegal activity on the property and demand payment in full and no more reinstatement.
But regardless of that scenario, it's still the same time frame. You still have to file notice of default. Wait that period, and then the notice of sale, and then wait.
Correct. There's no
days.
expedited process in California for the foreclosure. It has to follow that roughly 4-month rule.
In January 2021, California enacted a new law called SB 1079, which applies to single-family dwellings that are sold at auction to real estate investors. The law created a post-sale auction where the property's tenant, or a nonprofit organization, or a person who plans to occupy the home as their primary residence can place a bid to purchase the home and cancel out the real estate investor's winning bid. We made a separate video to explain how it all works, so be sure to watch that to learn the entire foreclosure process in California. To learn more about Total Lender Solutions, click the link in the description to view their profile on our website. While our primary function is to connect investors and brokers with lenders, we are also a valuable resource to find companies that provide services to lenders, brokers, and investors. We'll produce many more of these videos to learn about the foreclosure process in other states. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on LinkedIn to get notified whenever we release a new one. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.